Hello, and thank you for watching this video about the moon's surface. In 1609, the Italian astronomer Galileo Galilei turned a new tool, the telescope, toward the moon. What he saw amazed him. Wide, dark areas and strange spots and ridges. He said, "I have been led to that opinion that I feel sure that the surface of the moon is not perfectly smooth, but that, on the contrary, it is just like the surface of the earth itself, which is varied everywhere by high mountains and deep valleys." Today, scientists know that Galileo was right. Powerful telescopes have shown the mountains and craters on the moon, and astronauts have walked and driven over the moon's surface. For thousands of years, people could see the moon but didn't know much about it. Galileo's observations were some of the first to show details on the moon's surface. Scientists have since learned more about the moon's features. The moon is dry. There is no body of water or any other liquids on the moon. There is a little water, but it's frozen in ice. The moon is also airless. There is no oxygen or nitrogen or other gases to form an atmosphere like we have. The moon's surface is also irregular, meaning that it is uneven and does not have a specific pattern. Like Galileo said, some areas are high on mountains and other areas are low in valleys. We can also compare the moon to Earth. For one, the moon is smaller than Earth, which should not be a surprise. Earth is about 4 times bigger than the moon and weighs about 80 times more. The moon also has larger variations in surface temperature, meaning that the temperature difference on the moon between the hottest and coldest temperatures is much greater. When sunlight is hitting the moon's surface, the temperature can reach up to 260 degrees Fahrenheit. And when the sun is not hitting it, it can get as cold as negative 280 degrees Fahrenheit. As this image shows, the moon has many unusual structures, including maria, craters, and highlands. First, we will look at maria. Maria is the plural form if we have many of them, and mare is just one. This image shows the maria on the near side of the moon, which is the side of the moon that is always facing us. We can't actually see the other side from Earth. Each one of those dark spots with a number on it is a mare. So a mare is a dark spot. We also know that these spots are pretty flat. But what are these spots? What caused them? How did they get there? Well, a long time ago, people saw these spots and thought they looked like water. Now, we know that there are no oceans or seas on the moon, but when those people saw those dark spots on the moon for the first time, and they looked a whole lot like water, they named these spots each a mare, which is Latin for sea. If you look at the names of the maria labeled in the picture, you'll notice how the names are Latin and most begin with mare, meaning sea, and the English names in parentheses all refer to them as an ocean or a sea, and they are all of something, such as ocean of rains or sea of moisture. But again, today we know that there are no large bodies of water on the moon, so these are not really oceans or seas. So what are they? Well, believe it or not, there used to be erupting volcanoes on the moon that created them. Maria are patches of solid lava rock. Under the surface of the moon, there was hot liquid rock called magma, just like we have under the surface of Earth. It has been a very long time since the last eruption, but volcanoes once erupted on the moon, and the lava would come out and flow across the surface of the moon. The lava would spread out and eventually cool down. What happens when hot rock cools down? Well, it hardens and becomes solid rock instead of liquid. This solid rock is extremely dark in color. These erupting volcanoes created these dark, flat patches of lava rock that we call maria. In this image, that hole that we see is called a crater. Craters are large, round pits that can be hundreds of kilometers across. The largest crater on the moon is called South Pole Aitken Basin, and it is 1,600 miles across and 8.1 miles deep. That's longer than the distance from Michigan to Florida. So, how did these giant pits get there? Giant falling rocks. Craters were caused by meteoroids crashing into the moon. A meteoroid is a chunk of rock or dust from space. When meteoroids got too close to the moon's gravity pulled them into its surface and created these large pits. Some of the light-colored features you see on the moon's surface are highlands, or mountains. They have a high elevation, so they are called high lands. The peaks of the lunar highlands and the rims of the craters cast dark shadows. The highlands cover most of the moon's surface.